Hello YouTube, in this video we're going to be doing something a little different. I've challenged fellow 4X YouTuber Suede to play the same seed as me in a game of single player Civ 6, so that we can compare our performances. Now, just to be clear, this isn't a fair competition. I have years of experience playing multiplayer Civ 6 under my belt, while Suede only has a few hundred hours on the game, mostly played against the AI. To further tip things in my favor, this challenge will be played with the standard settings for a multiplayer free-for-all game, and also with the mods Better Bounce Game, Better Bounce Starts, and BBG Expanded. Before we go over the full rules for this challenge, allow us to introduce ourselves.
Hey, I'm Suede. I'm a fan of the older Civ games. I used to play with the CPL for Civ 3 and Civ 4 back in the day. I'm new to Civ 6, so I tend to stick with the easier difficulties, like Deity. I topped the MP leaderboards for Civ 3 with over 1,000 ranked games recorded on the new ladder. On the Civ 6 ladder, I have 2, but I've been grinding practice runs as Hungry. Let's see if I can avoid embarrassing myself.
And I'm Herson, a multiplayer Civ 6 veteran with hundreds of games under my belt. At my peak, I was the #1 rated player on the largest community leaderboard for Civ 6 free-for-all games. Here's how this is going to go. First, Suede and I are going to take the same turn 1 save file and play through it until turn 65. Since we are purely testing our ability to build up our empire, we aren't allowed to abuse the AI. This means that we're not allowed to wage war against them, and we're not allowed to trade anything other than luxury resources with them. After we finish playing through all 65 turns, we'll do a reveal where we look at each other's empires and discuss what we did differently. If all goes well, we should be able to learn something in the process. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Okay, I'm playing as Hungry, so I'm going to be crossing the river to get maximum access to districts across the river. They get a production bonus for districts on the other side of the river.
First Great Merchant's pretty good, First Great Engineer's pretty good.
Not seeing, maybe I'm misjudging, but I'm not seeing any incredible city spots up in this direction.
Over here looks fine.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about era score.
I might buy another scout because I am struggling like crazy with hitting the era score I need.
We're turn 14 and we have 5 era score. This is alarming.
Buying a scout.
A free builder. We're gonna see what we're gonna do with that. I'm not quite sure.
Oh my god, I am on 0 tribal villages.
Okay, we can just buy the trader right now.
I'll go trader there.
Okay, I'm not seeing a ton of great options for pantheons. I think fertility rights is our best bet. So we have like a few maize and some rice down here. We got some wheats over here, some wheat up here.
Now what do I want? Magnus cap, I guess?
We're gonna go with the Governor Magnus.
Dude, hitting my first golden is really hard. Do I place the +3 campus? Better than missing first golden, but yeah, I mean, hello? I guess God of War and Plunder, just because I have nothing better.
Oh, natural wonder. Okay, problem solved. Whew, okay. Wasn't stressing that at all.
6 pop. We can buy the 3rd ring wheat if we need to.
Penbrush and voice. Let's do it.
Penbrush and voice. This spawn makes me physically ill.
Okay, I think we're gonna do 6 farms to get feudalism faster.
This is so sad how the city's tiles are. Something like this.
We have the Ancestral Hall now, so we can put this down.
Problem is that I have no cities right now.
Okay, nice. Okay, so we're just gonna permanently run this serfdom policy card now.
Okay, switch to this.
Grab Joburg. We are suzerain now. Congrats to us. We're for sure gonna make Golden Age.
There's a Joburg in the game. That's really good.
What do we need for Colosseum? Oh, sorry, we can just build it right now. Okay. Let's get the diplomatic quarter first.
Alright. Industrial zone logistics.
I'm sure there's some unimproved tiles or a cap that Herson's gonna be absolutely blasting me for. Let's do this. Seems like a... Oh, we can even... There's even another spot.
Ooh.
Oh, this is a good tile improvement. 1 production, 3 culture.
This world's slowest Colosseum.
Okay, we did the Colosseum, but we're still short on housing, actually. That we can fix.
Another big industrial.
I'm liking these settlers we're pumping out from our capital. This seems good. I think we can get another district next turn. We hit size 10.
We're in the medieval era. I'll go free inquiry.
Okay, so pen, brush, and voice. Again, maybe this one's good. I'm not sure.
Anchor what?
The temple is...
University. Go encampment and university. I do want to build universities next to a mountain Eureka.
Okay, this is the end of my game. This is where I'm at. I think my RNG was pretty good with the early hut results. I was glad that I was able to get the early golden age. I think it was a bit of a difficult start because there's not a lot of logical expansion spots. I think I stumbled into some pretty good stuff, like the Bailey improvements from being suzerain of one of these city-states.
Okay, I guess that's the end of the challenge. I think I'm in a decent spot. This was a very bad spawn. Got a lot of big industrials. I have 500 production, which is really, really high for pre-industrialization here. I have +6, +7 industrial, +6, +5. Then over here, I have the dam set up, +6, +7. Okay, good stuff.
I'm reasonably happy with how I did. I'm looking forward to finding out how I could have played this better.
Okay, so we just finished playing the challenge. Now we're going to take a look at each other's seeds. I'll load up your save file.
Fantastic. I'm curious to see your city placement here. Seems like a bit of a rough one for city placement.
I actually played through this twice. One doesn't count because I already knew where all the city-states were, and I wanted to try an entirely different build order based on the city-states that are available, because I thought that this actually allowed for like a religious game, but I didn't do that the first time around.
Interesting. So what would you say were the important city-states here?
So there was a Johannesburg that I met quite late, but that's an amazing city-state. There's a Zanzibar, which I think was killed. The first time I played the seed,
Jesus.
Yeah, I think Macedon like raised it, and I only realized it was around because I played the seed again a second time and with a different build order, right?
Yeah, there was like someone else with 6 envoys, so I couldn't get the Zanzibar anyway.
Ayutthaya was also incredible. That one was quite close. I actually didn't get control of Ayutthaya because somebody put a money in it and spent all their envoys there. So despite it being like the best city state available, I didn't get it, but I did get some. Okay, we'll load into your save file now. Enough chatting.
It took a while to find any city states, but as soon as I did, I realized a lot of them seemed very strong.
Yeah. The seed was picked out by my brother, Bordy, who's been featured in a lot of my 2v2 videos recently. He re-rolled, I think, 4 times until he found a seed that he thought would be good for this. Okay, I have your save file up. Honestly, you didn't do too bad. I know that you practiced a lot, but yeah, you did pretty solid. Funnily enough, there's a city over here where I settled one. I actually settled this exact city in my game, but it was taken by Indonesia.
Jesus, okay. Running into AI issues.
Yeah, the AI played a bit differently. There's some interesting things. I think this city is the exact same place I settled mine, as well as down here. I also settled this.
Did you settle that one for the era score on the other continent?
No, I did not settle that in the ancient era. I actually didn't realize that this location was available until after the era rolled over. I just didn't scout up here.
Okay. I ended up finding a natural wonder, but that was like my ace in the pocket for making sure I got the first golden age.
Okay, you're controlling Kumasi, which is... Are you using Kumasi right now? No. It's kind of hard because you meet it so late on the seed. I think it's like all the way over here. If Kumasi were right next to us, that would be an amazing city-state to abuse.
Is that one of the ones that's changed with BBG? I've heard the name Kumasi a lot.
It's actually nerfed. Your trade routes to any city-state provide +2 culture and +1 gold per specialty district in the origin city. I think in BBG, so I think the text here is wrong. It might be an error where they didn't update the text. This is the vanilla effect. In BBG, they changed it so it's +2 culture and +1 gold base, and an additional +1 culture per specialty district in the origin city, so it doesn't scale as hard. But it's still quite good. The reason it's so good in BBG has to do with the Governor Imani here. She gives +2 food and production on trade routes sent to a city-state she's in, which this is not an effect in the base game. This is added by BBG. Naturally, that synergizes insanely well with Kumasi, trading to city-states.
I didn't even consider international trade routes. I know there's like a policy card later on that makes them good, but until then, it wasn't on my radar.
Yeah, you actually made it a bit further in the civics tree than I did. I don't think I got colonialism.
So
I had a lot more science, though.
What was the next cultural city-state that I was like there's a special tile improvement that really blew my culture the hell up.
Iguana? The
I
Beatties?
think so.
Yeah.
Are those good?
They can be good, yeah. It really depends on how many bonus resources you can get them adjacent to. It's really good when you have a lot of bonus resources to put them next to. It
Nice.
also
Okay.
kind of helps with Joburg, incentivizing you not to remove your bonus resources. Oftentimes you would want to like chop all of your sheep and stuff, but with Joburg, you kind of have an incentive to keep one bonus resource per city. And so that helps to get bigger Beatties for Kagwana.
I think that made me play a bit better because like I was chopping the resources on the far side of the river to make room for my districts, but aside from that, wouldn't really know where to chop.
Yeah, I think was it you're not +3 in all of your cities, which is a bit sad. I think you settled more cities than I did. Some of these are a bit suspect. Generally,
Sorry, +3?
plus amenities. So if you look here, when you
Ah,
hover this,
yeah.
it tells you the amenities in each city. At +3, there's a breakpoint where you get 8% extra to all yields in a city. And at +5, there's a breakpoint where you get 16% extra to all yields.
I did not know about that menu. Could you tell me, is there a way to easily see what cities are sending traders to your capital?
So trade route overview here, you can see
That
my
would be it.
routes.
Yeah.
And then there's also available routes, so you can see which ones aren't sending a trade route to your capital. Your capital is Buda, so all these 5 routes are cities that are not sending traders to your capital.
Yep,
Miscalip,
makes sense.
yeah. Let me see. Great people. Did you recruit any good great people? You obviously get the merchants for free because
There's
they
like a governor
don't contest.
title one.
Yeah, the merchants are all it's pretty easy to clean sweep the merchants against the AI. I actually ran some projects to get them even faster. I noticed that you didn't get any of the engineers. I actually did recruit multiple engineers. You can run some projects to get those. When you see this one up for grabs that gives prod towards wonders, it's more efficient to run the projects and recruit this guy than it is to build a wonder directly. He
Fair enough,
gives,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of production.
Does sorry, the governor Magnus, does he give like a bonus towards I know he gives like an industrial zone bonus, but does that towards the projects too?
No, he doesn't give any bonus towards projects. I
Okay.
see you went Magnus 4. You probably went Ancestral Hall as well. Yep,
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Is
I
there any
think
other way to do it?
yeah, you don't have to do it that way. Like one thing you could do is just you could go Magnus 2 with just the provision promo and then spend a gov title on 3 different governors with audience chamber. If I go here, audience chamber. I know you asked for a lot of help and I sent you some guides and I showed you the Ancestral Hall one, but this is the
Yeah.
other building you could have gone. +1 amenity, +3 food, and +3 housing in cities with the governor. So for your early governor titles, instead of going Magnus 4, you would have just gone 1 promo on Magnus for provision and then spent your titles just spreading your governors around.
Makes sense, yeah. I honestly was kind of playing in the dark with the governor titles towards the end. What would be good governor titles like in the mid game here?
So one thing I would think, generally you don't need to go this deep on Pingala. I would have just
I
taken researcher.
embarrassingly I don't even have a campus district, I don't think, in the southern city where Pingala is assigned. So
Yeah, yeah. It is. I will say grants here. It's kind of goofy because grants gives extra great person points generated in the city, right? But 2 of the districts you have in the city don't generate great person points, so that's a really
oh,
scuffed.
the
Yeah,
entertainment.
entertainment
Yeah,
complex and Diplo quarter don't. They take up your district slot, but they generate no great person points. So this is not a great city to put Pingala with grants in.
interesting. Yeah, good call.
Some gov titles that you could have gone, I'll show you later, but I went like Moksha 2 for the culture in a city from citizens. Going down to Reina to get tax collector with the extra trade out capacity is very good.
Yeah, good call.
I saw some of your practice runs. You didn't have as many tile improvements those runs, so you did build more here. That is good.
I'm still like I checked almost every single city has an unimproved tile, so I'm behind on workers still somehow.
Yeah.
But one
You
thing I was
don't
really proud of is I hit like I had the pre-build with the policy card for the faster workers right when I hit feudalism, and I just immediately popped up a wave in all my cities.
this seed was quite bad, by the way. I think that I've said this before, but this seed is really rough.
Where did you end up putting your second city?
I settled up here. I don't know if this was your second city.
It was,
Estergon?
yeah.
Yeah, it's good because it has a 2-2 city center when you settle on the Plains Hill, and then it had the good tiles around it. I ended up settling my third city down here. I don't know if Obudo is yours.
That was my third, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This city kind of is rough because you have to trade a lot of tiles to the city to make it work.
And
'Cause
what pantheon did you go with?
Pantheon, I can see you went with fertility rights. I think I went God of War and Plunder, which gives extra great person points for every market you have. Each market.
Oh God. Oh, that seems so strong. Sorry, I didn't even catch that one. Could you show me what it is?
So I don't know if it'll show you here. Here it is. Yeah. +1 great person points for barracks or stable, great general, lighthouse, great admiral, and market, great merchant buildings. And you get an additional +1 with the tier 3 buildings, so military academy, seaport, stock exchange.
I did make kind of decent use of the. So I went for the 6 farms to boost feudalism, and so with like the rice tiles and the wheat tiles, I was able to get decent mileage from the Pantheon that way.
I see you built some water mills in the cities that have farms. It's good for the cities with farms to get water mills for the +1 prod on them. You don't really need a water mill in a city that doesn't have farms. I guess this one does, so it's fine. But like a big thing I'll see with some players is they'll build water mills in every city when they don't have farms. Do all of your cities have farms? This was very flat land, to be fair. I think that's another way in which the spawn was quite bad. If I had one critique I would levy, you have a lot of cities that you settled late that you really probably shouldn't have.
Interesting. What's the
Yeah.
downside to settling more cities?
So your luxury resources are distributed among all of your
Ah,
cities.
of course, yeah.
And so the more cities you settle, the harder it is to hit the higher amenity breakpoints. So you have like this city over here is contributing very little. This city is going to take a while to come online. This city is going to take a while to come online. And the problem with all of these, well, it's nice that these are in range of Colosseum. Your Colosseum's in a different spot than mine, so I guess these are like fine as long as they're on Colo.
Mm-hmm.
But like this one and this one, I don't know that you needed these two cities here.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because those amenity
I think
breakpoints are like really good. Let me see your policy cards. If you're not using serfdom right now, it could have been good to slot it out. You went for Penbrush and Voice a second time in a row. That's an option. I think if you're going Penbrush and Voice a second time, some advice is that you really need to focus on getting your actual science up. So putting 3 envoys in both of the blue city states and building some campuses.
how often do you buy tiles to like just to chop? Like I found myself
I end up
wanting to do that a lot.
Yeah, quite a lot. It's very common. It's honestly one of the biggest gold sinks you'll have in the mid game is buying tiles, especially if you're like chopping a lot of food, which I did. Like I chopped a lot of my wheat and sheep just to get the growth faster, and then
Makes
you
sense,
end up
yeah.
needing to buy tiles.
Especially some of these cities like have like 4 discounted district spots, so I could see it being very beneficial.
Overall, not that bad. Let me see if there's anything else I have to
I'd
say.
like to remind everybody watching that we played this with like unlimited timer. This would have been absolutely brutal if I was actually playing with the online speed timer in a real online game.
Yeah. Honestly, you picked this up quite fast. You have like no experience in multiplayer Civ 6, right? You have decent
I've
experience in single player though.
I've played 2 ranked games of MP Civ 6, at least ones that weren't like scrapped after an hour.
Another reason, by the way, that like settling these later cities can be kind of tough. The cost of making new builders scales with the number of builders you've made so far.
I was
So
gonna
like,
say, yeah, like I tried chopping out a builder in one of these cities, and I realized it wasn't even worth my while.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
it's so hard to get the builders for these really late settles. That's the big problem here.
Hmm.
I see you're building an archaeological museum. That's really good to hit this boost. So
Okay.
that's definitely the correct play. You'll see my Coliseum is in I think a better spot, but I delayed it a lot because I knew the AI wouldn't rush it. It was a bit of metagaming there where it's like against humans I would have had to rush it a lot more. But against
Fair enough.
AI,
Where did you put it?
I ended up settling a city right here on the maple and I put my Coliseum like here, right on this wheat tile.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
And the way that I built the Colo, because this city was like super small and this is the city that built it. And you might be wondering how would the city build it when it takes so long?
Chops.
It was this engineer.
Oh, interesting. I was gonna say
Yeah.
because you don't even have the district discounting from Hungary's bonus to get like the
Yeah.
entertainment complex up faster.
I used all the chops around here just to get the entertainment complex and the arena up. And then I ran projects in some other cities to get this engineer, and I used this on the Colo. We can take a look at my seed if you'd like to do that now, or my game.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Now, this was my save. My culture is actually quite a bit lower than yours because I was focusing on science. I had a really scuffed ancient era where I ended up making a +3 campus at 4 pop in my capital, and then I had to go down here. I had to chop. I made a builder just to chop sheep, chop rice or chop wheat and then chop the wheat down here because there's like 3 food shops all around here
Mm-hmm.
just to get my capital 7 pop quickly, and then I placed the Gov Plaza at 7 pop on like turn 33 or something. So that kind of hurt my early game a lot.
Did you do Ancestral Hall with?
Yes, this is an Ancestral Hall game with Magnus 4.
So in your video about this build, you talk about how the main advantage is like getting all these bonuses to your capital, including a bunch of multipliers on settler production speed and just pumping out settlers. Did I pump out too many settlers?
Yeah, you might have pumped out too many settlers. I think you had too many. I'm on like 10 cities. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. One thing I'll note, I'm +5 everywhere. I have the 16% multiplier on all yields in every city from being high amenities. This
It's
is
impressive, yeah.
helping quite a bit. Currently building a bunch of universities. These are all +8 science because I have 3 envoys in both the blue CS. You get +2 science in every university for that.
Nice.
The inability for me to grab Ayutthaya because it was being contested here is really annoying. I would have had to give up a bunch of other city states that I quite liked. One of the things I did with the city states I controlled is I tried to prioritize somewhat getting ones that had luxury resources I don't have. Like you see, Brussels has silver.
That was not even in my
Yeah. I wouldn't have
silver for
expected.
me. I got that with like a great person. Like it gives like a copy of the luxury resource that you stand on.
Yeah, I think I sent
There's one
that.
to the west.
I used the continent lens here. Each continent in Civ 6 has 4 unique luxes. So I actually sent this dude down to the blue continent and grabbed spices, I think.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
Because I knew that I would never be able to get anything from the blue continent, so it like saves you the mental headache to just send it to a continent that you can't get it. Especially if you're actually playing with a real turn timer and multiplayer, that's like a good way to use that guy without making sure that you making sure you don't waste him. Here's my
Just
Colosseum
find the
for a
continent
minute.
you'll never go to. That's a good
Yeah.
strategy. You're doing encampments. Is that for like military engineers?
The encampments, they're for Eureka's, and for like, yeah, they're just to trigger Eureka's. Also, just because in multiplayer, I'm trying to play this a little bit realistically, where it's like you'd want some encampments at this point, just so that you can be prepared
Fair enough.
on
Yeah.
great generals and stuff. You can see here, this city, I have a bunch of stuff that was in progress that was not finished yet. I was going to go a harbor here, actually, because Reina here has a promotion where it causes +1 trade art capacity. You have a market and a lighthouse in a city. Normally you don't want both, but with this promo you do.
Nice. Yeah.
I did recruit a lot more great people. I think I got through the merchants faster, in part because my Pantheon was God of War and Plunder. So I got those extra great merchant points. And I run some projects. You can see here, these are the Wonder Prod engineers that I recruited. I also made sure to get my hands on Hypatia for +1 science on libraries. I've had to pass several scientists to get this one.
That seems very strong. Yeah.
Yeah, it also builds the library instantly, so it saves you that.
I like the city placement on Pex in the north. So I did that one too. It felt like a bit of like I thought that was the challenge your brother was referring to, like knowing how to get like decent secondary city spots here. Because here I think you had to place it like on the sheep or something.
One thing I'll point out in this, so I think you are like 115 science, like 200 culture, and I'm like 250 science, 140 culture. This stat line is generally a bit better because in multiplayer you want military units are all in the tech tree, so like you need to have this so that players know that you're like able to defend yourself. Another thing I'll say is the production here, production total. You actually had pretty decent production for your experience level. I think you had like 340 production on this turn, which is not terrible. But the way that I get 512, a lot of it is the amenities. I'm getting those extra yields in every city. That includes prod. Part of it is these aqueduct industrial zone setups. Like you can see here, I have the diamond. Yeah, this is +6, this is +5. Up here, +7, +6. Then over here, I have a +6 and a +7. A lot of these are not across the river from the city center because they're second ring to get the diamond set up. But this one up here with the dam actually is getting the prod bonus from Hungary, so that's nice.
Nice, yeah. And then the one last thing is I was missing some tile improvements. Is it normal to be missing tile improvements, or should you be keeping up?
Yeah, like this city doesn't have every tile improved, although it's about to improve this one. This city is struggling a bit, quite a bit, has number of tiles unimproved. This one as well, although it has a builder, it's about to improve another. I did think that this was quite a difficult seed. If I had been able to hit my golden age without going to campus at 4 pop in my cap, I would have been a lot bigger. The fact that I had to make an extra builder, chop food 3 times, and then only then could I place the Gov Plaza and go Ancestral Hall slowed me down a lot. My early game tempo was not good this game.
Have you considered that you might be washed?
Possibly. Yeah, do you have any other questions about the way I developed this?
I think, no, that's about it.
I could show you this other game I played where it's like I replayed the seed, but like knowing where all the city states were. And I got very big in that game. Not very big, but I'd say that I was doing better than this.
Let's see. Did you go for a different Golden Age dedication at the start?
Yeah, I actually went a religious build order with holy sites and monumentality, which normally is not what you go in Hungary. But when you have Ayutthaya here, that allows you to get away with not having Pen Russian voice. And then when you have Chinguetti here, this is the best city state in the game for religious build orders. It gives you a lot of faith. +1 on trade routes for every population in the city. If I show you here, I have played Holy Site Hungary before. It's a very, very dependent on having good city states. This game, I ended up having less production by a bit, but like I have 300 faith per turn, and that offsets the fact that I'm like 50 production lower. My stat line, I think, is even better because I only have like 30 less science, but now I have 150 more culture than I had before. And my culture, it's doing better than it looks even because Ayutthaya, I was actually able to control it this game, and Ayutthaya gives you a ton of invisible culture. It doesn't show up here. It's just whenever you complete a building, you get a huge burst of culture. And over the course of the game, that gets you so much progress in the civics tree. Like I actually have natural history finished here. I also have civil engineering, grabbing the Enlightenment. Again, I think I'm +5 everywhere. The main difference here, I went Moksha with these promos here, extra culture. It's interesting to see that. A lot of the game I played the same. I think my cities are mostly in the same spots, except they actually block the settle down here. I can't settle here because Rome put a city here, which meant I had to settle up here, which is not as good.
Yeah, that city down there is quite strong.
Yeah, this is quite a good city, and then it's blocked by Rome. So the AI playing differently between games was something.
It's interesting how I think more than you, I prioritized having cities with the bunch of adjacent river bonuses for Hungary's bonus. Like, you have some good spots. Like, I think your capital's in the same spot as mine for that. But for example, the Maple City and the city on the northwest, I think, just has the one adjacency, is that? Or one option?
Northwest? This one has 2, actually.
The other one, sorry, the nearer one. Northwest, but
this one,
not quite that far.
Yeah, this one. This one only is 1, yeah. It's a bit scuffed, but it had the
That's a cool campus, though.
Yeah, it's a very nice campus. This, in general, the seed allowed for very big campuses because of the geothermal vents. I do think it would be a mistake, for instance, to like this city, if you like put a campus like across the river instead of taking the +5, that would be a mistake. The +5 is just so good; it's worth ignoring the prod bonus to get the higher.
Interesting. Okay.
Because one thing about Civ 6 adjacency bonuses, you get the card that doubles them here, right? So this is actually giving me 10 science, and then there's another card unlocked with the Enlightenment, where it's like,
does the campus actually do anything without the adjacency bonus?
Does it do anything?
Yeah.
I mean, no, and it lets you build buildings in it, and it gives you 1 scientist point per turn. Yeah.
At one point, I was staring down like a +0 campus, and I was like, "This isn't even worth building."
Well, I will say, if you're in Pen Russian voice, which you were in the classical era, and apparently in the medieval era as well, they are giving you 2 culture and 1 gold each. And the sooner you build your districts, the cheaper they're going to be. So it actually is worth building them early. Yeah.
Okay, I've definitely got some things to work on in the future, especially with the aqueducts and not playing so tightly around the Civ bonus, I guess. One last question. With Colosseum, with the build I was going for, it felt like in my practice game when I did Colosseum and Cap, that was bad because I was just wasting a ton of time that could have gone into pumping out settlers. Is that a good reading on things?
If you're going the autocracy build order, where you're going like Magnus 4, you're going Ancestral Hall, you don't want to build the Colosseum in your capital.
Okay, it felt awful when I did. So
yeah. You can do Colosseum and Capital if you're going like Magnus 2, where you're just going for provision here, and then you're going like Audience Chamber and spreading gov titles around. with Ancestral Hall, your capital should be like a 24/7 settler machine early, and so it's not easy to fit in the Colosseum there.
Nice. Okay.
If I can show you the religion, like I had Feed the World here, trying to provide food and housing, pilgrimage.
You said this was low food, so good call.
Yeah. That's how I have like a 13 pop city here. I think one thing, you didn't have like any cities on like 13 pop. I have like 13 here, 13 here, 15 here, 13. Like this city, to be clear, this was the playthrough where I cheated and went holy sites because I knew that Chinguetti and Ayutthaya would help. Obviously, yeah.
I was getting like housing capped in my southern city. I guess I delayed getting aqueducts pretty long. So
Yeah. All right. So that about wraps up the review. I do have to ask you, are you interested in playing again soon? I have a 2v2 event I'm trying to organize soon where I might be playing a bunch of 2v2 games with single player content creators in a big tournament format. Each team would be like one single player content creator, or like in your case, I guess you're a multiplayer Civ 3 content creator. But the point is that you have like one experienced player in Civ 6 multiplayer and one inexperienced per team. And they'll just duke it out in a small little 2v2 tournament.
So my one concern would be, honestly, the FFA games go a little bit long for me. Are these shorter game formats?
Yeah, the 2v2 games are going to be much shorter because in 2v2, the thing is that the turn timer, or what is it, the rollovers are really short. Like they're really fast. In FFA games, you often have to wait, like sometimes as long as like 30 to 40 seconds on rollover because it's loading. It's like based on the slowest player in the lobby's PC and how long it takes to load into the turn. And there's like 10 players, so everything takes longer to load. But with like 2v2, it's like usually instant, like 5 seconds or under for the rollovers. That cuts out a lot of time over the course of the game. And additionally, players are often CCing earlier. Like as soon as the game's decided, players will concede. So 2v2 games generally, they very often conclude in around 2 hours or under. And even in the worst case scenario, they're usually over in like 3.5 hours.
Okay, so more like Civ 3 then. Nice, I'd definitely be interested.
All right, well, that wraps things up. Do you have any promotions or shoutouts you'd like to do?
If you guys are interested in 4X or grand strategy games, especially the older games in the Civ franchise, check out my channel.
Yeah, and I'll provide a link for that down in the description. Or I guess I could even list this as a collab video on YouTube, in which case it would just show your name next to the creator. So it'll be
Wonderful.
quite easy to find your channel. Yeah.
Awesome.